Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya.
Today's class. Sri Caitanya Caritamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji Jai. And we are reading from Adi Lila chapter 6, the glories of Sri Advaita Acharya. All right, so we are on text 64, I think. 63. Let's start from 63. Krishna Sange Yudha Kare Skandhe Arohana Daradasya Bhave Kare Charana Sevana. Although they fight with him and climb upon his shoulders, they worship his lotus feet in the spirit of servitude. Oh, I guess we have to know who we're talking about. So previous verse says, Lord Krishna's friends in Vrindavan, headed by Sridama, have pure fraternal affection for Lord Krishna and have no idea of his opulences. Although they fight with him and climb on his shoulders, they worship his lotus feet in a spirit of servitude. So, yeah, they're pure devotees, but they have no idea of his opulence. They just love him. He's their best friend forever. Text 64. Pada sambahanam chakru kechittasya mahatmanaha apare hatta papmano yajanai samavijayam. Pragati.
Some of the friends of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, massaged his feet, and others whose sinful reactions had been destroyed fanned him and handheld fans. Purport. This verse, quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:15-17, describes how Lord Krishna and Lord Balram were playing with the cowherd boys after killing Dhenukasur in Talavan.
Yeah, so Krishna has all different kinds of friends. So some of his friends are exactly like peers, right? That like talk to him and play with him and stuff like that. And then some of them are older, right? Like Lord Balaram, who he's his friend and they play together, but they also sometimes Balaram, kind of has a mood of caring for Krishna, making sure that he doesn't do anything too risky, making sure he gets home for lunch on time or something like that. It's small. And then there are others that are more like juniors. They're also friends, but they're sort of junior friends. And then they like to serve Krishna in different ways. So that's what this verse is about. That some of his friends, they massage his feet or fan him. Fans. Krishnara prayasi vraje yata gopi gana yanra pada duli kare udava prarthana yan sabara upare Krishnara priya nahi ana tanhara apana ke kare dasi abhimana.
Even the beloved girlfriends of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, the gopis, the dust of whose feet were desired by Sri Uddhava and who was more dear to Krishna than anyone else, regard themselves as Krishna's maidservants.
Yeah, so even his girlfriends, the gopis, who are in Madhurya Ras, they also consider themselves servants. So everybody considers themselves a servant of Krishna, but they all serve Krishna independently. Right? Mother Yashoda serves Krishna by times, by cooking for him, by dressing him, by sometimes chastising him and tying him up. And the friends serve Krishna by playing with him, fanning him. The gopis serve Krishna by having lovers' quarrels and dancing, etc. Yeah, so everyone serves Krishna, but they serve according to the mood. Rajajanartihan vira yoshitam nitya janasmaya dvamsana smita vajasake bhavat kinkari smano jalaruhananam charu darshaya.
O Lord, remover of all afflictions of the inhabitants of Vrindavana, O hero of all women, O Lord, who destroy the pride of your devotees by your sweet, gentle smile. O friend, we are your maidservants. Please fulfill our desires and show us your attractive lotus face. Purport. This verse, in connection with the Rasa dance of Krishna with the gopis, is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:31-6. When Krishna disappeared from his companions in the course of dancing, the gopis sang like this in separation from Krishna.
Yeah, so this is a way of serving Krishna also because it makes him happy, right? Like you could say, most men like to be desired by many women. So yeah, this comes from Krishna. Only that in the material world it's pervertedly reflected, right? And it comes out as lust and exploitation and whatever. But in Krishna, it's pure and it's love and it's engaging his pure devotees in services according to their propensities, right? How they want to serve him. Text 68.
I have.
Oh, yeah.
It says that who destroy the pride of your devotees by your sweet, gentle smile. So, like, I was just focusing on how Krishna's smile can can destroy the pride of their devotees.
Mm.
How it can happen? Like, I'm asking how it can happen.
Because, for example, with the gopis, sometimes they kind of spurn Krishna. They kind of send him away because they're not happy with something that he did. But and they act very proud with him. They are kind of haughty. It's described like that, like Lalita Devi. Sometimes she's described as haughty, like a little snobbish with Krishna, like, oh, like you are not going to see Radharani today. Yeah. But then when he smiles, he gives this very sweet smile. Then it melts the heart, and their pride disappears, their haughtiness disappears, and then they just become like little puppets, like putty in his hand, basically. Same thing, like sometimes, yeah, it's funny that, when you read through Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna smiles a lot, and like even when demons come and they'll like insult Krishna and try to attack him and they want to kill him and kill his dynasty and things, and then they'll come and Krishna will smile, right? Or Arjuna's on the battle of Kurukshetra and he's like giving so many arguments. I'm not going to fight because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that. And then Krishna smiles. Like, really? Okay, let's see what you're going to do. So, yeah, Krishna is omniscient and all powerful. And so, he smiles and everybody has to realize that, like, if somebody is like feeling very proud and very confident that I'm going to do things my way and this is what's going to happen, Krishna's like,
okay.
Like, what's that? I was just reading about it. Oh, the Pondrika. There's this person called Pondrika that he was a king. No, he was in one city near Dwarka. Right, so he was this king, and he had all these yes men that used to flatter him and make him kind of puff him up. Oh, you're so great. You're so wonderful. You're on the same level as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this Krishna who poses as God, he's just an imposter. You should go and challenge him. So, yeah, he gets puffed up by all these guys. And then he literally like straps on another set of arms. So he has like a four-arm form and he puts on all the dress and the helmet and all the necklace and everything to look like Krishna and Dwarka. and he goes to, he sends a messenger to challenge, Ponduka is the real Lord and you are just an imposter, and he challenges you. And Krishna just laughs. He literally just he doesn't just smile, he laughs, ah! With Balaram, they all just laugh. They all just are rolling in the floor laughing practically. This crazy guy. So
does he meet Krishna in person?
yeah, so Pandurga goes. He actually goes. He confronts Krishna with weapons and everything, and Krishna sees him and he's just like, yeah. Okay, what is the meter for this one? No. Anyways, we'll just say, or it could be Chaitodarpana. Could be
I think
Kip.
Brahma Samhita works.
Doesn't Api Badam
Right.
kind of. Okay, we can use that. Smarati sapi trigehan somya bandum chagopan Tvachedapi sakatamna kinkarinam grinite Bujam aguru sugandam murtya dasya kadanu. Couple extra syllables in there. Okay. Oh, we got the divine couple there, Ajit and Ananga Manjari. Okay, go ahead, Ajit. I see that Ananga's chewing, so you read.
If you just tell me which verse I can read.
Okay, it's Adi Lila chapter 6, text 68.
Oh wow, you're really advancing. Okay. 68.
Advancement is fast with Lord Chaitanya.
Yes. Okay, 68. Oh, Uddhava, it is indeed regrettable that Krishna resides in Mathura. Does he remember his father's household affairs and his friends, the cowherd boys? Oh, great soul, does he ever talk about us, his maidservants? When will he lay on our heads his guru-scented hand? The gopis are talking, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I should have used a different voice. It's okay. Purport. This verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-21 in the section known as the Brahmara Gita. When Uddhava came to Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani, in complete separation from Krishna, sang like this.
Yeah, so by this time, Krishna had already been gone away from Vrindavan, or at least ostensibly, for some time. So Uddhava came to try to console the gopis, and he came to bring a message from Krishna. And yeah, they were appealing to Uddhava. Does he sometimes remember us? Does he sometimes ever talk about us or think about us? Is he ever coming back to Vrindavan? So they're very desperate to see Krishna again. Tansabara Katarahu Srimati Radhika Sabahande Sakalam She Parama Adhika Tenho Yanra Dasi Haina Sevena Charana Yanra Prema Gune Krishna Badha Anukshana. Ananga?
What to speak of the other gopis, even Sri Radhika, who in every respect is the most elevated of them all, and who has bound Sri Krishna forever by her loving attributes, serves his feet as his maidservant.
So Srimati Radharani is the best devotee. And actually Krishna sometimes serves her feet. Massages her feet, puts her lotus feet on his head. But still, she thinks of herself as his maidservant. She never thinks, I'm the master and Krishna is my servant. Anatta Ramana Prishta Kwasi Kwasi Mahabhuja Dasyaste Kripanaya Me Sakhe Darshaya Sannidhim. Who we got there? Nikesh?
Prabhupada Priya, before I begin, I just have a question. Is there like
Sure.
a certain tone we have to read the Bengali or Sanskrit words?
What's that?
Are there like certain types of tone we used to read the Bengali or the Sanskrit verse?
Yeah, there's the thing is that they're different lengths, right? So based on how many syllables there are per line, there are different meters that fit that length.
Okay.
So there are very common lengths. Like if it's 8 syllables, it's the Bhagavad Gita meter. If it's 11, it's the extended Bhagavad Gita meter. If it's like, there's a standard Srimad Bhagavatam meter. There's a Brahma Samhita meter. It's a little longer. And then when it gets longer than that, those are less common. Yeah, so sometimes it's hard to know which one it is. Otherwise, I'm familiar enough that I just by looking at the length of the line, I can know which meter it is.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
But sometimes I don't know.
Okay. O my Lord, O my husband, O most dearly beloved, O mighty Lord, where are you? Where are you? O my friend, reveal yourself to your maidservant, who is very much aggrieved by your absence. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:30-39. When the Rasa dance was going on in full swing, Krishna left all the gopis and took only Srimati Radharani with him. At that time, all the gopis lamented, and Srimati Radharani, being proud of her position, requested Krishna to carry her wherever he liked. Then Krishna immediately disappeared from the scene, and Srimati Radharani began to lament.
So in this case, it wasn't his smile that crushed her pride, it was his disappearance. Yeah, so Krishna doesn't like when devotees become proud. So whenever we become proud, Krishna makes an arrangement to cut down our pride, either by smiling, hopefully, or by disappearing. So yeah, or by something else. So yeah, we have to try to remain humble and always know that I'm Krishna's servant. Okay, text 72. Dwarakate Rukminyadi Yateka Mahishi Tanharo Apanake Mane Krishna Dasi Vrindavan Natabar.
Okay. In Dwarkadam, all the queens headed by Rukmini also considered themselves maidservants of Lord Krishna.
Queens also. Chadyayamai Payitum Udyata. Now this is Brahma Samhita. Chadyayamar Payitum Udyata Karmukeshu Rajas Vajeya Batashe Karitam Girenu Ninye Mrigendra Eva Vagamajaviyutat Tachchi Niketa Charano Sumamarchanaya. Lavanga?
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted with Jit and Nungam and Jar eating. I was wondering if they want to come bring some of that prasadam down to the Caribbean.
Send me your address. We'll send some over.
Yeah, free trip to the beach in exchange for prasadam.
Okay.
Okay, so 73, right?
Yes.
Okay. When Jarasandha and other kings, bows and arrows upraised, stood ready to deliver me in charity to Shishupal, he forcefully took me from their midst, as a lion takes its share of goats and sheep. The dust of his lotus feet is therefore the crown of unconquerable soldiers. May those lotus feet, which are the shelter of the goddess of fortune, be the object of my worship. Purport. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:83-8, was spoken by Rukmini, Queen Rukmini. Sorry.
Yeah, so Rukmini was saved by Krishna, and I mean, Krishna is so humble and so cool that in Dwarka, he basically becomes like a henpecked husband of all of his wives, and he does whatever they want him to do, right? Satyabhama's like, oh, I'd really like to have a parijata flower, and Krishna's like, all right. He goes off to heaven and fights with Indra and brings back a whole tree, and then another one wants another thing, and he's basically just is always trying to satisfy them, and yeah. So imagine here, I was just thinking, because Rukmini she's telling this, what happened to someone else, right? And I'm wondering if it's that. Yeah, there's one pastime where all the queens get together and they're like, and they start asking each other like, how did you end up marrying Krishna? How did you end up marrying Krishna? And they're sharing their stories. I think it's that. So Rukmini's sharing her story, and can you just imagine, like just like reflecting on the incident of when Krishna like came and swept you off your feet and carried you away. I mean, what a memory, right? Like what a thing to have etched in your mind. So anyway, she's telling about that, and she's so grateful. She's like, "He saved me from that Shishupal. Thank God, I worship him forever."
Is it the scenario where Draupadi is asking every queen how did they get married before Kurukshetra? I think we read it in Krishna.
Yeah, it could be that one at Kurukshetra.
Yeah, they all meet.
Yeah, and
gopis
she asks them.
And
Yeah, I think it's there. Text 74. Tapas charantim agyaya swapada sparshanashaya sakyopedia grahit panim saham tad grihamarjani. Divya.
Krishna, knowing me to be performing austerities with the desire to touch his feet, he came with his friend Arjuna and accepted my hand. Yet I am but a maidservant engaged in sweeping the floor of the house of Sri Krishna. Like the previous verse, this verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.83.11 in connection with the meeting of the family ladies of the Kuru and Yadu dynasties at Samanta Panchaka. At the time of that meeting, the queen of Krishna named Kalindi spoke to Draupadi in this way.
Oh, yeah, you are right, pregnancy. So this is interesting, right? Because she's a queen. So normally, I mean, even like nowadays, like, in India or in wealthy families, it's like the wife is not going to be sweeping the floor, right? She's going to have multiple servants who are doing those menial services. But to speak of a queen, not going to be sweeping the floor of the palace. But here, Kalindi is one of Krishna's queens. And she's sweeping the floor of the palace because, yeah, she wants to serve. And it's even described in the Bhagavatam that the palace is not even dirty, right? There's literally no dust on the floor of the palace, and yet they're sweeping. It doesn't even need cleaning, but they're sweeping. Why? Because they want to serve. So, yeah, that's devotion, like they just want to serve and they do the service. Whereas nowadays, even like us, Kali Yuga specimens, we're like, oh my God, you're asking me to sweep the floor. Krishna's eternal consorts, queens of Dwarka, are like sweeping the floor very happily, and it doesn't even need to be done, and no one's even asking them to do it.
This reminds me of Hanumanji when he wanted to serve Lord Ramchandra, and he used to take up all the services, and detectives used to plan something to get him ready so they can get opportunity to serve Lord Ram.
Yeah, so that's the difference between pure devotees and us. Pure devotees are like wanting to serve more and more, and we're trying to serve less and less, enjoy more and more. All right, I did my 4 hours. I'm done. Don't ask me anything else. Atmaramasya tasyema vayamba grihadasikaha sarvasanga nivrityadha tapasa cha babudhima. Krishna Balaram Das. Who's Krishna Balaram Das? Are you there? Go ahead. You unmuted and then you muted again. So we can't hear anything.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just joining in. I'm Divya's friend, so she just sent me the link. I was like, yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. Do you know where we are? Text
Okay.
75.
Yeah, I think. Hang on. Let me just. Yep. Through austerity and through renunciation of all attachments, we've become maid servants in the home of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is satisfied in himself. During the same incident, this verse, quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 83, Text 39, was spoken to Draupadi by a queen of Krishna named Lakshmana.
So the third one of Krishna's queens that's speaking. So they did a lot of austerity. They became completely renounced from all material things. And the reward was they got to be maidservants in the home of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Can you imagine living with Krishna? Like you wake up in the morning and there's Krishna. You cook breakfast and sometimes we cook and we'll offer to the deities, but can you imagine you cook breakfast and then you just like
Oh my God.
Krishna's sitting at a table,
Waiting for the hot prasadam.
and and he's like oh, so tasty. I like the way you prepared this.
We're happy with devotees of Krishna.
We're happy. Aruna says we're happy serving the devotees. That's nice. Yeah. We are discussing that in class, right?
Yeah.
On Sunday? Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday.
That the way to actually, Krishna says, who considers themselves my devotee is not my devotee. But my actual, who says they're the devotee of my devotees, they're actually my devotee. So that's really the secret. So we actually have a better opportunity than the queens of Dwarka. Because they're serving Krishna directly, but we can serve the servants of Krishna. Good. Anera ki kata baladeva mahashaya yanra bhava shudha sakya vatsalya rimaya. Sneha, did you figure out where we are?
Yes, Prabhupada Priya. What to speak of others, even Lord Baldeva and Supreme Personality of Godhead is full.
Slow down. Oh, you ended up muted.
I think that is
You mistakenly muted yourself.
Like pure friendship and consistent love, purport. Although Lord Baldeva appeared before the birth of Lord Krishna and his blessed
You're like on 2 times the speed. Please start again, read the translation again, and read it a little more slowly so we can like soak it in. Okay?
Okay, sure. Yeah, what to speak of others, even Lord Baldeva and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full of emotions like pure friendship and paternal love. Purport. Although Lord Baldeva appeared before the birth of Lord Krishna and is therefore Krishna's worshipable elder brother, he used to act as Krishna's eternal servitor. In the spiritual sky, all the Vaikuntha planets are predominated by the quadruple expansions of Krishna known as the Chatur Vyuha. They are direct expansions of Baldev from Baldev. It is singularity of Supreme Lord that everyone in the spiritual sky thinks himself a servitor of the Lord. According to the social convention, one may be superior to Krishna, but factually everyone engages in his service. Therefore, in the spiritual sky or the material sky, in all the different planets, no one is able to supersede Lord Krishna or demand service from him. On the contrary, everyone engages in the service of Lord Krishna. As such, the more a person engages in the service of Lord, the more he is important, and conversely, the more one is bereft of transcendental service of Krishna, the more he invites the bad fortune of material contamination. In the material world, although materialists want to become one with God or compete with God, everyone directly or indirectly engages in the service of the Lord. The more one is forgetful of the service of Krishna, the more he is considered to be dying. Therefore, one develops pure Krishna consciousness. When one develops pure Krishna consciousness, he immediately develops his eternal servitorship to Krishna.
God, thank you. Important points here. So how is it? Prabhupada's saying that in the material sky or the spiritual sky, everywhere, everyone is engaging in the service of Krishna. How is that? Me, when I look around, I see a lot of people that are not engaging in the service of Krishna.
A
Lavanga?
I'll take a stab at this question. I was thinking that, well, in the spiritual sky, they're engaging in service of Krishna according to their relationship with him. But in the material sky, they're also engaging in service directly because they're serving the energy of Krishna, even though it's not Krishna directly.
They're serving Maya, basically,
Serving Maya.
right?
Yeah, like
Krishna's
I was thinking
energy.
it's kind of like with the Uttama Adhikaris, why they can't preach because they think everybody is engaging in service to Krishna because they're serving Maya, which is Krishna's energy. So it's like indirect service.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4:11, he says, Ye yatam mam prapadyante, tam sataiva bhajamiham, mamu vartmanu manushya partha sarva saha. Says, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. Son of Kunti. So yeah, mama vartmanu vartante. Says, manushya partha sarva saha. Every person, every human being, manushya, follows his path. Mama vartmanu vartante. So everybody is following Krishna's path. Everyone is acting under Krishna's control. Everyone is doing exactly what Krishna is having them do, right? So that means that everybody's serving Krishna, but some are directly serving Krishna, willingly serving Krishna, and some of them are under the control of his material energy. They're under control of Maya, under control of the three modes of material nature, under the control of the laws of karma, and the oversight of different demigods and Paramatma, and they're all Krishna's agents in this world. So, yeah. Prayushi?
Mataji, I have a question. In this line, it is the singularity of the Supreme Lord that everyone in the spiritual sky thinks himself a servitor of the Lord. So, what does this singularity means? As in, everyone has a single goal of serving the Lord, or the singularity means that everyone wants to serve the only one Supreme Lord.
Yeah, that there's one single purpose, right? In the spiritual world, there's only one purpose, and that is to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. And there's only one single Lord, and that's Krishna, right? So both apply, I would say. Everyone is serving him. Everyone is doing one thing for one person, right? They're all serving Krishna. Okay. And then this is an interesting statement. Prabhupada says, the more one is forgetful of the service of Krishna, the more he is considered to be dying. So yeah, that reminds me of a verse that goes, how does it go? Ayur Haranti Vai Pumsam Udyan Astanchayan Aso Tasyarte Patita Nita Utamashloka Vartaya. That with each rising and setting of the sun, the duration of life of everyone is diminished, except for those who engage their time in hearing and chanting about the glorious activities of the Lord. So, yeah. So what he's saying is that if we are not hearing and chanting, we're not serving Krishna, and then each day we're just dying, coming closer to death. We're each rising and setting of the sun is diminishing our life. But if we are serving the Lord, we're always hearing and chanting about him, his names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, then what's being said is that the setting of the sun doesn't diminish our lifetime, right? In other words, we're not getting closer to death because the devotee doesn't die in the sense that the devotee doesn't have to take birth again. And that, I mean, what does death mean? Death means that you lose everything. It means you get all of your achievements are gone, all of your money is gone, all your relationships are gone. The identity that you thought you had, the person you thought you were is gone, your body is gone. You're done, right? And that's death. But for someone who's serving Krishna, then their achievements, their spiritual achievements are not gone, and their consciousness is not gone, their identity is not gone. Everything just continues. And especially if they go back to Godhead, they get their especially if they're already aware of their eternal spiritual body and form and relationship with Krishna, then yeah, they just continue with that. So yeah, devotees don't die. Okay, good. Tenho apana ke karena dasa bhavana Krishna dasa bhava vinu ache kona jana. He also considers himself, so we're talking about Lord Balaram. He also considers himself a servant of Lord Krishna. Indeed, who is there who does not have this conception of being a servant of Lord Krishna? Well, a lot of people. Krishna's Kaviraj is basically, I mean, he says who is there, but I think he means something like which sane person, right? Like which person in their right mind does not understand that they're a servant of Krishna. Only people who are like totally out of touch with who they are. Right? Only people who are just in gross ignorance and illusion. Fortunately. If even Lord Balaram considers himself a servant of Krishna, then what to speak of us? Tiny little jivas. The servants of the servants of the servants. Okay, text 78. Sahasra vadane yen ho shesha sankarshana dasa deha dhari kare Krishna sevana.
He who is Shesha, Sankarshan, with his thousands of mouths, serves Sri Krishna by assuming 10 forms.
What is assuming 10 forms? That he takes on 10 different forms. I think we're going to hear about it in the next verse. Ananta Brahmande Rudra Sadashivera Amsha Gunavatara Tenho Sarva Deva Avatamsa.
Rudra, who is an expansion of Sadashiva and who appears in unlimited universes, is also a Gunavatara, qualitative incarnation, and is the ornament of all demigods in the endless universes. Purport. There are 11 expansions of Rudra or Lord Shiva. They are as follow: Ajaikapat, Abhivardhana, Virupaksha, Raivata, Hara, Bahurupa, Deva Shrestha, Triyambaka, Savitra, Jayanta, Pinaka, Aparajita.
So,
Besides this expansion, there are 8 forms of Rudra called earth, water, fire, air, sky, the sun, the moon, and Somayasi. Generally, all these Rudras have 5 faces, 3 eyes, and 10 arms. Sometimes it is found that Rudra is compared to Brahma and considered a living entity. But when Rudra is explained to be a partial expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is compared to Sesa. Lord Shiva is therefore simultaneously an expansion of Lord Vishnu and in his capacity for annihilating the creation, one of the living entities. As an expansion of Lord Vishnu, he is called Hara, and he is transcendental to the material qualities. But when he is in touch with Tamoguna, he appears contaminated by material mode of nature. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam and Brahma Samhita. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, it is stated that Lord Rudra is always associated with material nature when he is in the neutral, unmanifested states. But when the modes of material nature are agitated, he associates with the material nature from the distance. In the Brahma Samhita, the relationship between the Vishnu and Lord Shiva is compared to that between milk and yogurt. Milk is converted into yogurt by certain additives. But although milk and yogurt have same ingredients, they have different function. Similarly, Lord Shiva is the expansion of Lord Vishnu. Yet, because of his taking part in the annihilation of the cosmic manifestation, he is considered to be changed, like milk converted into yogurt. In the Puranas, it is found that Shiva appears sometimes from the head of Brahma and sometimes from the head of Vishnu. The annihilator Rudra is born from Sankarshana and the ultimate fire to burn the whole creation. In the Vayu Purana, there is a description of Sadashiva in one of the Vaikuntha planets. That Sadashiva is the direct expansion of Lord Krishna's form of pastime. It is said that Sadashiva, Lord Sambhu, is an expansion from the Shadashiv in the Vaikuntha planets, Lord Vishnu, and that his consort, Maya Mahamaya, is an expansion of Rama Devi or Lakshmi. Mahamaya is the origin or birthplace of material nature.
Okay. Yeah, so this verse didn't tell us who are the 10 forms of Lord Balaram, but it told us about Lord Shiva, who also considers himself a servant of Krishna. So going back to the previous verse, 10 forms of Balaram, I just researched it a little bit. So here are some 10 forms of Balaram. There may be more forms, but so the first form is Balaram himself, right? That he's Krishna's older brother in Vrindavan. And then there is what's called Mula Sankarshan, who is when Balaram first expands, he first expands into the first Chaturvyuha, which is the four lords, Sankarshan, Vasudev, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So that first Sankarshan is called Mula Sankarshan, means he's the root of the other ones, and that's Lord Balaram. Then that Chaturvyuha expands again from Sankarshan. From Mula Sankarshan comes another Chaturvyuha, which that Sankarshan is called Maha Sankarshan. And yeah, that's also Lord Balaram. Then there's Anantashesh, right? We heard about these in the last chapter, the glories of Nityananda Balaram. So this should be familiar. There's Anantashesh, who is the serpent who becomes the bed of the Lord, and also expands. Yeah, that comes later. Okay, so he's like the bed. Then there's Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who enters into each universe. There's Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who enters into the heart. There's Mahavishnu, who comes before them. Then there are all the Vishnus on all the Vaikuntha planets, who are also forms of Lord Balaram. They're all Balaram's expansions. And then there's the spiritual world, like the infrastructure of the spiritual world, basically the spiritual world itself, right? The planets, all the trees and the ground and the everything. And even when Krishna comes to this world, all of his paraphernalia and things that are used in his service and the dham, right? All these things are all like Krishna's shoes, Krishna's things. They're all Balaram. And then the last one is the guru principle, because Lord Balaram is Adi Guru. So all of any bona fide gurus are expansions of Lord Balaram. In a sense, yeah. And of course, there's Lord Nityananda. Jai. Okay, so now moving on to this verse.
I was wondering, like, where did Shiva comes from? And this says that Shiva appears sometimes from the head of Brahma or sometimes from the head of Vishnu.
Yeah.
Good description.
Yeah.
Rudra is also an expansion, or they are just saying.
Rudra is an expansion of Lord Shiva.
Mm.
He's basically the same as Lord Shiva, but has a little bit of a different mood, right? He has more of an angry mood.
Mm.
That's how he gets the name. Yeah. So, yeah, about Lord Shiva, it's very interesting, right? He also has all these expansions, and they have different appearances, and they do different functions. And in relation to the creation of the universe, Mahavishnu is creating the universe, but he doesn't touch the universe. So what he does is he Sadashiva is a form of Vishnu, actually, but he transforms into Shiva. Yeah. And then Rama Devi, who is a consort of Lord Vishnu, or you could say the consort of Sadashiva, then she transforms into Mahamaya. So then Lord Shiva and Mahamaya, they kind of usher the living entities into the material creation. Okay, yeah, and then Rudra is responsible for the annihilation.
Oh yeah, here it says Rudra is born from Sankarshan and the ultimate fire to burn the whole creation.
Yeah, Lord Shiva is like a very interesting personality, right? Okay, so now it's going to tell us more about Shiva here. Teno karena krishnera dasya pratyasha nirantara kahe Shiva muni krishna dasa.
He also desires only to be a servant of Lord Krishna. Sri Sadashiva always says, I am a servant of Lord Krishna.
Yeah, so Lord Shiva and Sadashiva and all forms of Shiva. First, second, third, all the expansions, all the 11 expansions of Lord Shiva, they all identify Muni Krishna Das. I am the servant of Krishna. Krishna preme unmata vivala digambara. Krishna guna lila gaya nache nirantara. Ajit?
Okay. Intoxicated by ecstatic love for Lord Krishna, he becomes overwhelmed and incessantly dances without clothing and sings about Lord Krishna's qualities and pastimes. Wow.
So Lord Shiva gets so ecstatic, he's not even aware of whether he's dressed or not. He dances so vigorously. You know how sometimes you're in an ecstatic kirtan and like the pleats come out of your sari or dhoti, and you need to be like, oh my God, and go off to the side and quickly make your pleats and tuck them in. So yeah, Lord Shiva dances so vigorously that his clothes fall off and he doesn't even notice. He just keeps right on dancing without clothing. So he becomes overwhelmed with ecstatic love, intoxicated by ecstatic love. Very beautiful, right? Pita mata guru sakha bhava kena naya Krishna premera swabhave dasya bhava se karaya. Like to read Ananga?
All the emotions, whether those of father, mother, teacher, or friend, are full of sentiments of servitude. That is the nature of love of Krishna.
So love, yeah, sometimes it's said that bhakti, it means love in action. Right? Love in action. So all of these devotees in different relationships, whether parental or parents or teachers or friends or lovers or whatever, and they all love Krishna, and their love manifests through their service. Right? If you love someone, then you naturally serve them. You want to do things for them to please them. So that's the nature of love for Krishna, is that it's full of sentiments of servitude. Eka Krishna Sarvasevya Jagat Ishvara Arayata Savatana Sevakanuchara. Divya.
Lord Krishna, the one master and the Lord of the universe, is worthy of being served by everyone. Indeed, everyone is but a servant of his servants.
Sarva Sevya, worthy of being served by all. It's Eka Krishna, one Krishna. Yeah, that's the singularity, right? Eka Krishna. There's one Krishna, and he is Sarva Sevya. He's worthy of being served by everyone. Jai. Well, we're lucky we get the opportunity to serve Krishna.
Yeah, glad that we have this knowledge in this, at least in this world.
Yeah. Prabhupada would talk about how, like the dharma or the essential characteristic of all living beings is to serve, right? Just like the essential quality of water is to be wet, essential quality of sugar is to be sweet. It's that quality that you can't take away from the thing, no matter what you do with it. It's not wet, it's not water. Water is wet. Sugar is sweet. So the soul is a servant. That's just who we are. That's our essential nature. You can put a soul in any situation and they're going to be serving, right? Like if you serve your family members, you serve your friends, you serve your employer. And I would say that if people don't have someone to serve, then they'll get a dog or a cat just to serve them, and they'll bring them the food and bring them the water and clean up their litter box and take them for a walk down the street in the morning or 2 or 3 times a day. So, and they become happy doing that, right? Otherwise, why would people spend so much money and these useless pets. Like some people get it like for like a watchdog or something, guard dog. That's one thing, but most people don't. Most people just get them because they want them, because it makes them happy to serve, right? So, yeah.
They should give a deity.
And Prabhupada would say instead of serving dog, people should serve God, because that's who we're meant to serve, right? And Krishna is actually worthy of being served. As I say, he's worthy of being served by everyone, whereas a dog is not worthy of being served. And a lot of the people that we serve, they're not also worthy of being served, you know, they're full of bad qualities, and they're just, you know, exploiting us in the material world. I'm not talking about the devotees, I'm talking about, like, you know, if you have a job out there, they're just trying to like squeeze as much labor out of you as they can, give you as little money as, you know, just to keep you going, keep you from quitting, like that. So, yeah, I did.
Just a side note, I saw an article that in Toronto there's schools for dogs. Like when people go to work, kids go to school, that there's a bus that comes by and people put their dogs in the bus. And then there's a bus full of dogs and they go to like dog school and all day and then they have
Oh
fun.
my God.
My God, in Toronto, people are crazy about their dogs. You know that park that's right across the street from the temple, and they have those fancy dog parks? There's a
Yeah.
sign there that says something like the population of dogs in Toronto, and how it's like it's almost the same as the population of humans. I can't remember the numbers, but it's like there's a lot of dogs in that city.
Yeah.
They're crazy about their dogs.
Why don't they just have like let the dogs have their own habitat and let them stay wherever they are staying and do not disturb their ecosystem?
Well, I mean, dogs don't have a habitat. They're domesticated animals. They have to, you see in India, nobody owns those dogs,
Yeah.
but they don't just go out into the woods and live. You know, they don't just go out there and eat squirrels and birds and be happy. Like they like being with humans. That's how they are. So they're always just hanging around the tea stalls and hanging out in front of people's houses, waiting for someone to throw some chapati or something, right? So.
One thing. Like yesterday, also, it was in your class that we are so much fortunate that we got the opportunity to serve a devotee or to serve. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we will be like serving our senses or serving our mind says here and there, and we just serve our own mental speculation and think something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a very good thing you said yesterday that we are so much fortunate to serve them. Otherwise, we would be serving something else.
Dogs.
Yeah, dog.
Cats, that's just some materialistic person. Yeah, we're so blessed that we can actually use our service propensity for what it's meant for, and make spiritual advancement and get purified and experience actual loving relationships and get the fulfillment and come closer to Krishna, right? Get the mercy of Krishna. So, yeah. All glories to Srila Prabhupada for making International Society for Krishna Consciousness, where we have a place where we can come together with devotees, associate with devotees, serve Krishna together with devotees, and serve devotees together with Krishna. It's just really beautiful. Okay, we have 5 minutes left. Se Krishna avatirna Caitanya Ishvara Ataeva Arasa Bhattanhara Kinkara. Krishna Balaram.
Joy. That same Lord Krishna has descended as Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone, therefore, is his servant.
Jai. You have a very posh accent. Are you British?
Oh, no. I live in Australia.
Oh, that's
So
what it is.
Yep. Sorry.
Okay, no, it's nice. So Lord Krishna. So this Krishna, who is this Eka Krishna, one Krishna who is worthy of being served by all, who is the Jagat Ishvara, the Lord and controller of the universe, he has descended as Lord Chaitanya, Chaitanya Ishvara. And so everyone is servant of Krishna means everyone is a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Yeah, so we should think of that. I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya. There's actually a verse. Maybe it's coming up. Oh, it's coming up. I was just going to quote it, and there it is. Text 86. All right, we'll get there. Hopefully. Text 85. Kehamane, kehanamane, sabatan radasa, yenamane talahaya, se pape nasha. Neha.
Some accept him, whereas others do not, yet everyone is a servant. One who does not accept him, however, will be ruined by his sinful activities. When a living entity forgets his constitutional position, he prepares himself to be an enjoyer of the material resources. Sometimes he is also misguided by the thought that service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not absolute engagement. In other words, he thinks that there are many other engagements for a living entity besides the service to the Lord. Such a foolish person does not know that in any position he either directly or indirectly engages in activities of service to the Supreme Lord. Actually, if a person does not engage in the service of the Lord, all inauspicious activities encumber him because service to the Supreme Lord, Lord Chaitanya, is the constitutional position of the infinitesimal living entities. Because the living entity is infinitesimal, the allurement of material enjoyment attracts him and he tries to enjoy matter, forgetting his constitutional position. But when his dormant Krishna consciousness is awakened, he no longer engages in the service of matter, but engages in the service of the Lord. In other words, when one is forgetful of his constitutional position, he appears in the position of the Lord of material nature. Even at that time, he remains a servant of the Supreme Lord, but in an unqualified or contaminated state.
Very interesting, right? Yeah, so Krishna's Kaviraj is saying that everyone is the servant of Lord Chaitanya. Some know it and some don't. Some accept it and some don't. The ones who accept it, they're glorious, they're happy, they go back home, back to Godhead. And those that don't, they will be ruined. Because if they're not serving Krishna, they're going to be serving their senses and serving Maya, basically, which is going to degrade them. Sinful activity gradually. So, yeah. But even then, they're serving Krishna, but in a wrong way, in a contaminated way. Okay, then we'll end with this. This was the verse that I was thinking of. Chaitanya Dasa Muni, Chaitanya Dasa, Chaitanya Dasa Muni, Kanra Dasera Dasa. Nikesh.
I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya, a servant of Lord Chaitanya. I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya and a servant of his servants.
Jai. That's our identity, right? We should wake up in the morning, and before you get out of bed, you sit there and say, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya, the servant of Lord Chaitanya, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya, and the servant of his servants. We remind ourselves of who we are, what we're doing, and then we go through the day serving Lord Chaitanya by doing all the things that please Lord Chaitanya, right? Like chanting the holy names, dancing in kirtan, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, serving the devotees, trying to share Krishna consciousness with others, hearing about the glories of his pastimes, his qualities, right? Like we're doing here. Jai. Alrighty then. Let me just see if anybody's out there in cyberspace. How do I do this again? Oops. Oh, only one person saying Radhe Radhe. Okay then, we shall see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki
Jai.
Jai.
Kaviraj ki jai.